Man, there is a lot of stuff that is going on in the world right now, and a lot of it is pretty heavy. We're watching it, we're paying attention to it, um, and we're posting up as much as we can about it. But do take a deep breath on things that you're seeing and you're hearing nationally, and I got to tell you, last night I was. We were laying down to go to bed, and I was like, "Oh my God! Look what's happening! Look what's happening in this crazy world of ours with Iran and Israel. The headlines are constantly changing, and I'm just buckled up for it, just like the rest of you. So, take a deep breath. We're going to be paying attention to it. We're going to be watching things." But there's a lot of positivity going on right now. This is a very exciting week in sports. We got the Panthers winning the Stanley Cup last night for the second consecutive time. We got the Red Sox getting shut out last night. We got, or the Yankees rather, getting shut out. We got the Red Sox out in Seattle. So baseball is alive and well, which is nice. We got our Mountaineers playing locally. We got the Lake Monsters playing over in Burlington. We got a lot of good stuff going on. And we have a lot of stuff that's going on in our community that is exciting as well. The Barry Farmers Market is kicking off this afternoon at 3:30. Hopefully Mother Nature's going to cooperate with that and move those thunderstorms to the south or to the north around us. But, 3:30 for the Barry Farmers Market at Courier Park. The food trucks are going to start serving around 4 o'clock. Live music starts up at 5:30 tonight with the Rustics. Concerts in Courier Park. Bring a lawn chair. Bring maybe even an umbrella. Put it in the car. Just bring it with you. But enjoy the live music tonight. Tomorrow, we got the Triple Crown Series for the Tigers at Thunder Road. That's going to be really exciting. We got the Queechee Balloon Festival going on through Sunday. That starts Friday. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's happening. Looks like Friday is the next Mountaineers game, by the way. I'm just seeing against North Shore. So that's some good stuff that's happening in our community and here in Central Vermont. So keep watch. Keep listening for it, and we'll be posting it up as much as possible. Yeah, it's a Wednesday morning. As you know, on Wednesdays, we drop the clutch and we shift a major gear into positivity, and it is with great pleasure that I introduce Winton Buddington. From Sweethearts and Heroes, who's with me this morning. Winton, first of all, what a cool name, man. I mean,
Thank you.
If Tom Murphy could have half as cool of a name as Winton Buddington, I mean, it's just you sound like you're a producer in Hollywood or something.
Well, if you throw my middle name's Robert,
Oh, okay.
so if you throw that in there, Winton Robert Buddington, it
Yeah.
seems like it should have a third on the end.
Yes, it should.
If if you didn't count middle names, I would be a third. So my dad and my great grandfather, but we all have different middle names. So
Man, the feeling that I get every time I chat with any of the team members from Sweethearts and Heroes is that I have known you guys for a long, long time. You're all just one big family, isn't that right?
it really is, and it's been great to come together with the team and be part of it.
Tell me about what you do. I mean, I have read your bio. I've seen what it is. I mean, it's just incredible. You and your staff at Bay Trail Middle School, 7 years in a row, you really you really notched a couple of notches in the belt here, man. I mean, tell me about this.
Yeah, so I first saw Tom talk at the New York State Middle School Conference, and it was just so engaging, and the message was spot on for what we needed in our building at the time, and um, had him come in and just watching the reaction for the students and the staff. Um, it was something that we didn't want it to be a one and done presentation. So I actually corralled Tom and made him come down. We had a TV studio in the school. We broadcast our morning announcements to the classrooms, and had Tom come down on some free time that and record some public service announcements so that we could show them throughout the year and keep the message going. And then brought him back next year and challenged him and Rick a little bit, because the first year they presented to all of my sixth, seventh, and eighth graders, and we had a big building. I had 1,100 kids in the building. And
Wow.
the next year when he came back, I was like, well, the seventh graders and eighth graders already saw you, so we got to do something different for them. And so they did, and that was great. And that's when I just knew that, you know, they were great to work with, and we kept up the relationship. And I was fortunate when I retired a couple of years ago that Tom called me and said, hey, we need somebody that knows our programs, that knows schools, and can help bridge that, because he's often in schools and presenting and can't connect with people all day. So
you were the principal at this school in New York, right?
Yeah, in Penfield, New York, by Rochester.
And the name of that school?
Bay Trail Middle School.
All right. You're saying that you were the principal overseeing over 1,000 kids?
Yep.
Wow.
We had 3 houses. We had great students. We had great families. We had great teachers, and I had a great administrative team. And you know, we didn't have our challenge. We had our challenges occasionally, but it was a fun place to go to work every day.
And for 7 years in a row, you were on the list of schools to watch. What's the notoriety behind that?
So the Schools to Watch program, it's a national program. It originally started as a lobbying group for middle schools, because middle school kids are unique and have unique challenges. And so it's a research-based program that identifies schools that are doing middle level best practice. And it's a recognition program where the school applies, and then a team comes in and visits the school. And if they are doing what they say they're doing, and it aligns with the research-based best practices, then they get a designation for either a national Schools to Watch. And I'm fortunate we were initially designated in Bay Trail in 2009 as a rising school to watch, which meant we were not quite there. We made some changes, and in 2010 we got the designation, and it's a 3-year designation. So we reapplied, and we were redesignated in 2013, 16, and 19. And then I retired in 22. So
this is amazing. I mean, that's you set the bar pretty high. And, you know, dare I even say, Tom's pretty damn lucky that he's got you on his team. I mean, yes, it is true that it's the world's #1 youth leadership team, but man, he knows how to cherry pick as well. He's talented with that.
He is. He puts together a very good team.
You have seen in your career of how many years as a school administrator?
Well, I was an administrator I was an assistant principal for 4 years and principal for 14. So I was an administrator for 18. I was in the classroom for 11, and then I did 3 years as a enrichment specialist. So I have 32 and a half years I was in middle school, I like to say.
Tom and Rick and all of the others with Sweethearts and Heroes have referred to this war on hopelessness. This is something that you have seen with your eyes, you've heard it with your ears. You've been forced to kind of embrace hopelessness with students who, for a vast amount of reasons, have experienced hopelessness, and they're walking around carrying that. You must have known that these guys are chipping away at this and really making some progress.
Yeah, I saw it make a difference with kids in my own building, and just the way the kids reacted to Tom, and some of the kids that went up to him afterwards. Our kid wanted to just connect with him and Rick individually. Were kids that we were working with, that we knew a lot of the challenges they were facing and their struggles, and it was just so great to see them get a new perspective and on how they can approach life. And I think that's one of the biggest things, is helping kids understand that they're what they think is possible. For us, hope stands for hold on, possibilities exist. And it's helping kids really understand that there are possibilities out there you can't even imagine right now. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, 3 days from now, 6 months from now. Those possibilities exist, but you can't even put it in your consciousness right now because of it's the future. But they do exist, and they're going to be better than they are today.
What is this? What's the details of your role that you play as logistics and school outreach director? What is it that you do, Winton?
So I'm in contact when schools want to book us and bring us in for a program. I'm in contact with the school. I usually meet with them via Zoom. And we talk about our programs and services, but then talk about what is going on in the school so that we can match which program do we have that really is what that school is ready for at that time. Oftentimes it's our, if it's a new school, it's our signature presentations with Tom and Rick as kind of the ignition and the motivator, the anticipatory set for getting things going. But sometimes the school's been doing other things, or we've been to a school and presented and they want more. And so it's helping figure out which of our programs and services is right for that school to move forward with and fits within their budget.
And how many schools do you think we're talking about at this point right now, Winton, if you had to guess? Or maybe you know.
Well, it's hard. I should have counted up the number in my email. I have a folder for each school I communicate with, and I should have counted those up, but easily well over 100 schools this year that I've been in touch with, and I mean it. And
Wow.
I had 3 meetings yesterday with folks that are looking to bring us in, and got a couple more coming up next week. And it's just, people understand the message and they hear it. A lot of times we get a call from somebody that said, "Hey, my kid was in that school and you guys presented there."
Yeah.
And they came home and we're talking about it at the dinner table. I think your own daughter had that experience, right?
Yeah, she sure did. Absolutely. I'm curious about what your take is on the effects of COVID on your students. Was Sweethearts and Heroes already involved with your school at that point?
Yeah, we had done probably we had done 6 years in a row before COVID, and we were slated to they were going to come in I think April of 2020 when we were shut down. So we had a break of about a year with COVID from being able to get Tom and Rick back in for that 7th time. But I really see kids, there's different things that students learn and experience at different ages. And what happened, in my view, during COVID is that those students that were, say, in third grade, they didn't experience school in third grade. They learned a lot because they were home, they learned different things, but they didn't learn the things that we were used to having them learn. So when they came back to school as fourth graders, it was challenging because those teachers are used to having them have these third grade skills. And so that is an effect that people are still seeing. I mean, those third graders are now eighth graders.
Yeah.
And so they're still working on developing some of those skills that they didn't learn as third graders.
Tom is, as you well know, so passionate about Circle. Not only the experience of Circle, getting people together in a circle and really unpacking a lot of content and insight and awakening. And I could list off 10 more words here, but it is such an impactful experience on anyone who's involved with Circle and Circle training. Effectively training people under Tom's watch to infiltrate what he's trying to accomplish in Circle to others, to be able to do it the same way that has been proven to be so effective. What is your take on Circle? And also, tell me about the Hope Classroom. I'm asking you both things here.
Yep. Well, starting with Circle, if you think about, when's the last time you really sat down and had just a conversation with somebody and really listened to what they were saying? And that's what Circle is. It's a conversation. It's listening. It's structured in that there's guidelines so that we can listen. And when you sit down with 12 to 16 people and everybody's actually listening to one person talking and sharing, and then they get to share, you go through your self-regulation. You think about, oh, what am I going to say, or what do I want to say, or wait, I've had that same experience. And you build, that's all happening in your head. And so often when we're having a conversation or we're interacting with people, we're not really listening to what they say. And I've had a number of times where I'm talking to somebody and I know what I want to say and I'm rehearsing that in my head, but I'm not listening and taking in really what they're saying and understanding the emotions and things behind what they're saying. And that's the power of Circle to me, is really giving kids and adults and people that opportunity to be in an environment where we can share with each other. Some of this used to happen. I was a social studies teacher, and I look at more kind of sociological trends and things, and you think about the decline in the bowling alleys and the Elks clubs and the VFWs, and these were all social organizations where people got together and had conversations and talked about things as adults. And as we got social media, those kind of went away for adults. And in kids, it was play. It was the playground. It was going out with the neighborhood kids and connecting that way. And that's gone away. So that's where the power of Circle is. I mean, kids have said to us when they come out of Circle, that's the first time someone's listened to me.
Yeah.
Because their families aren't even, listening to them or recognizing that they have thoughts and opinions and things. When you just ask somebody, who's your hero? Who's somebody you look up to, and why? What do they do that inspires you? People don't ask that conversation in normal conversation.
It is it's so easy. What you're saying right now is making me think of myself, because especially when I'm home, I'm probably the worst listener ever. Whether it's my wife that's talking, whether it's my daughter that's talking, I want to jump right in there. I got to be the dad. I got to solve something. I got questions to ask. Whatever it may be.
And half the time, they probably just want you to listen.
Yeah,
They don't need you to fix it.
I'm so guilty of that. And if my wife is watching right now, she's nodding her head. I'm a better listener when I'm on the air. We all have a lot of work to do in that department, but Circle, Winton, forces listening. And I was just up at Peru High School, and I did a little bit of podcasting up there, and I said to I said to the kids, and Tom's probably cringing right now, but I said to him, I'm like, I encourage interrupting and encourage that engagement, which can be razor sharp. I mean, that's what I do here on the podcast. And Tom's nodding his head like, no, with Circle especially. And when they podcast up there, the Fish Perspective, one person speaks at a time. And when they're done, they're done. And they're not done a minute earlier than when they're done. And it's like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh my God, I got questions, I got follow-up stuff, I've got comments here. And Tom, we chatted afterwards, and he told me, yeah, that's challenging for him as well. I mean, he's taking what he's hearing and trying to remember it and put it in his pocket, so that he can pull it out later. And sometimes it's too much. We just have to go back and either re-listen to that podcast episode of what they do, or we just have to walk away and very quietly digest and process what we've heard. And that's not easy to do, Winton.
No, and one of the things that Tom shares in the Circle training, and is when you think about listening, in school, the teachers that really teach listening are your music teachers, right?
Oh,
they're
wow.
They're but one of the things we say in the Circle training is, if you say in your head the words that I'm saying when I say them, you will find that you're really listening to what I'm saying, and you can't be thinking about what you want to say.
Yeah.
And then if you do it too often, it gets weird. But when there's been so many times I've had a podcast on, or I'm listening to something, and my mind is thinking about 3 or 4 other things.
It has got to be challenging for you. And I was sitting on the couch last night and reading a little bit of your bio, and I was thinking to myself, it's got to be tough when a school reaches out to you and says, hey, tell me more about you guys. What are you about? I've had a glance at the website here, but what is this all about? I mean, there's a ton of stuff that's going on with Sweethearts and Heroes. And you've got to answer that question, man.
Yeah, and I love answering that question, because we really want to have a multi-year relationships with a school to build in sustainability.
Yeah, right.
Our goal is to equip the students and staff in a school with the skills to run Circle, to build a positive community, to have empathy with each other, and to build those connections. And we do that through our programs. Mm-hmm. And we can have that multi-year relationship. We can do Circle training with teachers. We can do it with kids. We can have the STEP program that trains the high school kids. You've heard from, some wonderful high school kids go and present our message to the elementary kids. So our programs are designed to embed that sustainability within a school district, and then have those high school courses where it becomes part of what they do. And that's really the message I communicate to people. And I, coming back to the Hope Classroom question, our online resources in the Hope Classroom give teachers that ability to continue the message and work with kids on what's perspective. What does it mean to really understand somebody else's perspective through some different activities?
Yeah.
And our wonder questioning techniques, getting people just to question. You take an object and just say, come up with 10 questions just about this object, whatever it is. And you start to work with those questions, and just to get us wondering about the world around us. Even things like what we're doing right now, the amazing part of being virtual and having this conversation. There's so many questions in my head about it all that I don't understand. I'm glad it works, but it's beyond my comprehension of how all of those systems work together. So
the four words that I've kind of hung my hat on here at the Aired Out podcast over the last 7 years is real, raw, relevant, and relatable. Mm-hmm. And I was asked about a year ago which of those four words is the most important. And I think it's relatable. Relatability is, I think, holds more water than anything else. You've got to be able to relate to your listeners, relate to your audience. They need to be able to relate to you too. That connectivity is essential. How have you done that when you were a principal, when you were an administrator to your kids? What was your youth, your growing up like, Wynton? Were you able to really connect in with your kids and say, maybe even behind closed doors, yes, I really understand. Been there, done that.
Yeah, I mean, my challenge in my building was I had 1,100 kids. So I really looked at, there was a group of probably about 20 or so, 30 kids that I got to know pretty well and worked with. And they weren't just the kids that were in the principal's office. They were the student council kids and other kids as well. But I worked with my staff, and I really saw a big part of my role was supporting my staff and helping them have everything they need in order to work with the kids.
What do you say to a teacher who is getting ready to close the book here on the school year? Graduation is right in front of us for schools everywhere. What do you say to a teacher, Wynton? And I wish Tom was with me because I would love to ask him the same question right now, who might be very quietly behind the curtain feeling, I don't know how much longer I can do this. I'm not so sure of the impact that I have had on this past school year. I'm trying to teach, I'm trying to do my job, teaching the essentials of what I need to do, whether it's math, English, science, social studies, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm not really having the impact that I'm looking for, hoping for, and frankly, I'm discouraged. And I don't know how much longer I can do this. I don't even know if I'm going to come back next year as a school teacher. I'm burned the hell out. What do you say?
That, the hardest thing about education is we don't get to see the finished product. The year, and especially being in middle school, only seeing kids for 3 years. That I say to that teacher, you make an impact on every kid that you contact with every day. You may not see it. The kid may not give you that feedback, but you do, because you're there and you're showing up for them every day. And their behavior is a form of communication about where they are. But the fact that, you're there every day, and I really look at education is about the curriculum is our vehicle to teach kids how to work together, how to be together, how to be a society. And we use the curriculum as that vehicle. And that's the teachers that have been with kids all year. Thank you, because you've made an impact on all of those kids every day. And it's exhausting. I used to stand up at the end of my end of year faculty meetings, and teachers actually had a bet on how quickly I was going to get emotional.
Wow. Wow.
Because I knew how much they put in to what they did.
Yeah. I spoke with a teacher one time, and I spoke with a superintendent one time, probably separated by 2 or 3 years. But I'll never forget that they both, it was here on the air, said the same thing to me, that more often than not, they would get in their car to drive home at the end of the day and not even realize that they were home yet.
Yep.
You're nodding your head. That is that something you've experienced?
Yeah, you have so much that you're processing from the day. I mean, teachers make over 10,000 decisions a day, and you're processing everything, and your commute becomes automatic. You're doing it, you're conscious of it, but it's not in what you're thinking through. You're thinking through what Tom said, or what JD said, or how you reacted to that parent or that kid or that colleague, and and what are you gonna do tomorrow? You're working through that, because you had your plans for tomorrow, but today went a certain way, and maybe that leads into the plans you had, or maybe you need to shift your plans for tomorrow. So you start processing all of those things.
Well said. What was your take on some of the team players when you first met them? For example, let's go with Rick, who was just on with me last Wednesday, sitting here in the studio. One of the biggest takeaways that I have on Rick is probably perspective, and to, God, I mean, Rick, the other day I was driving. I was actually on my motorcycle. Don't tell Tom, because he doesn't like motorcycles. But I was thinking in my head what Rick was saying, which is there's going to be things that happen in your life that absolutely, flat out, completely suck. Allow yourself the respect to experience that pain or whatever it is, and to let that run its course, but have the self-respect and discipline to try and keep things into perspective, that it could always be worse. I mean, here's a guy, look what's happened to him. And if you missed that episode last Wednesday, please go back and watch. Rick's been on a couple of times now. But here's a guy who has experienced unspeakable, what's the word, Winton? that it's beyond pain.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that the impact that Rick has in a presentation
Yeah.
is exactly what you're talking about. Kids that are in adults that are in their own
Yes. Their own
myriad
tragedy. Their own tragedy.
of trauma and tragedy and
Yeah.
struggle, and they look at Rick, and it's like, holy cow, my problems are nothing.
60% of his body burned, his ears burned off, his nose burned off from an IED explosion, roadside bomb in Iraq, covered in diesel fuel, pretty much deemed a goner, and lost his leg. I mean, here he is, and his freaking attitude is unbelievable. He's got, his spirit has not been damaged. His personality, his character is right there.
Yeah, and I think he has worked very hard on that. He's also taken that energy back from the kids. He's given hope to.
Well said. Wow. Yeah. Who else has shaped the direction that you've gone in? Who else has helped you do your job better?
From a Sweethearts and Heroes perspective,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
well, I mean, Brian's incredible. Just with the work that he does and pulls together, and at some point I want to go see his workspace, because I'm sure he's got like 10 monitors up, that because every time I'm talking to him he's looking somewhere else.
Yeah.
And but the amount that he keeps track of, and the work that he's created with our Hope Classroom, and pulling the resources together in the Substack articles, with working with Tom on those, it's just so impressive. Pulling that together and helping me kind of get where I am with what I'm doing, because he used to do a lot of that on top of it. So he's just been a great resource for me. And I mean, Tom's available anytime I call him, and working through kind of helping me with, what did we do in that district before, because we've been to places that are in 2019 that now want us back. So Tom's just been great to work with. And I mean, you've talked with Tom multiple times, and it's working through his mind, and everything that's going on in there is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And where it can shape, and just, I'll be talking to Tom, and all of a sudden the thought will come to me, and he'll be like, oh, that's a piece where, because he just starts to create the perspective and the picture. And then you can look at that and say, what are we missing? Where can this go? Or I will have just had a conversation with a school district about something, and it triggers something that, and it's just that dynamic. And I don't know what the right word is. But being able to play off that, and have it be a dynamic situation where it's not just, hey, this is what we're doing and here's how we're doing it. It's,
right.
This is where we need to go, but the how are we getting there is really a team effort.
Sure. And this youth leadership director, Pat Fish, man, this guy he's an animal. I enjoyed having him on the air so much. I would love to have several of you, if not all of you, sitting down together, man. I mean, if we have to go to South America or whatever, and sit on the beach and do this, that's fine. But to be able to have us all together would be amazing. I mean, all of you bring so much to the table. It's
Yep.
just
Pat,
remarkable.
Pat, Pat and Josiah, and the work they're doing with in schools with kids every day, um, is, they're building those connections, and they're helping kids see the perspective and understand their colleagues and peers. And you hear their stories about, we don't know oftentimes how the things we say to somebody impact them, and they get to experience that. They have kids coming up and saying, hey, I want to give you this because of this reason, and just that circle we did made an impact on me, and here's how. And that's a phenomenal experience to have. As a teacher, you don't. I've been fortunate that I've had a few kids come back, and I've actually had kids of former students in my building. Uh, so
Wow. Wow.
where you get to connect with those people that you taught previously, and you realize, oh, I did make that difference, and there was an impact for the things I did.
Let's open up the old man folder here, which I am inside of for sure. But I think all the time, I can't imagine being either a young adult or a child in the world that we've got right now in front of us. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record, because I've said this several times before, but man, it's like it was just such a different world. There was so much naivety and just innocence. I mean, we just were running around, climbing trees, riding bikes, and being kids. Not that that doesn't happen anymore, but now kids have to contend with so much. It's not just the cell phone and devices, but there are so many distractions now that can pull us away from our families,
Mm-hmm.
literally our friends who are sitting maybe in the same room. There's so much that the waters are moving quickly that you've got to paddle against. You guys are doing that with Sweethearts and Heroes.
Yeah, and I would reframe that, though. I think that I don't feel that we're paddling against the waters. I don't feel like we're paddling upstream. I think what we're trying to do is, within the waters as they flow, create little eddies
Oh yeah.
where we can have those pockets of connection. It's not about trying to make things the way they used to be.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that there used to be places where these human skills were learned and practiced,
Mm-hmm.
and those places don't exist the way they were before. We still need those human skills, so we've got to create these new spaces for those skills to be learned.
Yeah, I think about the concept of circle, but then I also think about, and so well said, by the way, Winton. But I also think about the family of 4 or 5 or 6 that's sitting at the restaurant, and they've all got their phones out, and they're all looking at their phones, and nobody's talking with one another. It's like that is the extreme opposite of circle.
Yep. Yeah, and those are part of the challenges, but what can we affect, and how can we effectively do that to make that difference?
Yeah.
Help. That's where you see it, like with the kids from Peru that you were just up visiting with their fish podcast, and
Mm-hmm.
we work to empower kids to make a difference and help kids see those skills that they have and that they can make a difference and help them realize that. And when you do, I mean, kids are incredible. They
Yeah.
they just can do some amazing things. We need to give them the structure and the freedom to do that.
I said to Tom after Peru, of course, he wants to call me right away. And what was your take on it? What do you have to say? And one of the first things I said to him is that most of my drive back in the car for a couple of hours, my biggest takeaway was, frankly, the level of maturity from those kids that I met. I mean, I wasn't half as mature as they are at 17 and 18 years old. Especially, man, that Liam guy. He just really impressed me. But they all did, though. I mean, they're just. I think Tom. I think what you guys are doing with Sweethearts and Heroes is you're pulling out of youth what's inert,
Mm-hmm.
what they've got in there. That's maybe dormant, and it's being brought to the surface, and that's massive, man. I mean, you guys are really doing something profound here.
Everybody likes to be seen and heard, and having that opportunity with kids is huge, and it makes the difference. And that's the piece, the biggest challenge for me as I'm talking to schools is helping them realize this is the work that we really should be doing.
Yeah.
And we can there's places that we can make adjustments to how we do school to make this happen.
Yeah. No question that it's important to learn the basics, and it's important to be educated.
Mm-hmm.
Know how to do a little bit of math and know how to read, know how to write. But to be surrounded by Sweethearts and Heroes staff that understands that there might even be something more important than that. Because if you've got this foundation, then you can go on and maybe be successful in your life, even if you're horrible at math.
Yep. Yeah, and I can think of a number of students I had conversations with where they had a lot of these skills, and it frustrated some of their teachers because they were practicing these skills during class when the teacher was trying to teach. And part of the conversation I had with the students is, you're going to be phenomenal once you get out of school, once you graduate, because school is putting you in this box and you're already outside of that box doing incredible things.
Wow. What's next for you, Winton? Give me a typical day for you with what you do.
Well, a typical day, I don't know that any day is necessarily typical, but it's working, connecting with schools, setting up meetings, follow up on meetings, making sure our systems are updated, making sure our calendars are updated. From the Sweethearts and Heroes side, and the part I appreciate most is that I can schedule that, when I need to do it. So actually, like right now, I'm in Chicago. My wife's part of a group, Shackley, and there's a conference, so we're out here for the conference, and I can do a lot of what I do remotely.
Yeah.
which I appreciate. So it it's a lot of that. It's connecting with people. It's connecting with schools. It's following up with Tom and Brian, and um, keeping looking at the system and saying, where are we going? And now we're starting to build our calendar for next year, and it's looking at the schools that have want us to come in and do programs and present, but how do we schedule it on what days so that we don't have, Pat Fish out in Buffalo and up in Plattsburgh the next day.
Sure.
You know, those type of things. So
You guys put so much heart into it. You're so dedicated. All of you. Tom knows this. Rick knows this. You guys live and breathe what you do. And that's so obvious. And not everybody is like that and you guys are just the epitome of that. I can't thank you enough. I hope to meet you someday. I hope that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I just adore you guys, all of you, and support so much what you do. My partnership with you in bringing more of what you do, Sweethearts and Heroes, to my airwaves to share with the aired out audience is really special to me, and it means an awful lot. And I want to thank you for everything you do, and I want to thank everyone at Sweethearts and Heroes for what you guys do. This is not a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday job that you have.
No, it's not, but it is, it's so fulfilling in knowing the difference that you're making. And we can't thank you enough for the opportunity to be sharing our message and sharing our ideas with you and your listeners. Because Circle's not just for kids.
Yeah.
Circle for adults. Tom's doing Circle with linemen, and it's incredible. And the things we're talking about are things that often everybody needs to hear, and that message of hope and perspective, and know that whatever challenges you're facing right now, there's hope out there. The possibilities exist for those to be changed and be different, and it's not a permanent situation. Whatever situation somebody's in, just know that, and the only way oftentimes is through some of the challenges. And that's what Rick demonstrates so much, is just that working through whatever your challenge is, one day at a time, one step at a time, and the sun will come up tomorrow and things are going to look different. And we know that, and holding on to that understanding is key.
Thank you so much for all of your words, for all of your time this morning, Winton. And God bless you for what you do every single day. And again, I hope to meet you at some point here real soon.
Likewise. Thanks for the opportunity, JD. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. And I'm not sure who Tom's got lined up for next week, and Leon. But whoever it is, I know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Yeah. Wow. Sweetheartsandheroes.com. I encourage you to have a look at their website. This group of people who are empowering kids, administrators, adults everywhere, and making great strides in the classroom and far, far beyond. Sweetheartsandheroes.com. Check them out to learn more. And I can't wait to chat with them again every Wednesday morning. It's what we do. It's what we feature right here on the airwaves. Tomorrow morning, of course, we're going to throw a little bit of gas on the fire. As always, on Thursdays, G comes in here and just shakes it right up and sets us up for the weekend. So we're going to have plenty of goofy laughs tomorrow morning right here on the airwaves. Yesterday, I was, and I want to thank Fecto Homes. Yesterday morning, I was over at Fecto Homes. Being part of a company, a local company that has been putting Vermonters into their forever homes since the 70s is such an honor. And yesterday, to be there and to see the quality of craftsmanship of what can be available to you as a first-time homeowner or a second or third-time homeowner. These homes are beautiful. This modular home that I was in yesterday, sitting there doing my my podcast yesterday on the couch of this beautiful modular home in front of the electric fireplace, is amazing. It was amazing. Couldn't wait to get home and share that with Sherilyn, just how beautiful this home is. Built by local families for local families. It is Fecto Homes, and I want to thank them for being a presenting sponsor of the Aired Out podcast. Also, quick note here. July 7th is coming really, really soon. That is the next CDL course for Giroux General Transport, also presenting sponsor of the Aired Out podcast. So if you want to see America and get paid to do it, this would be your opportunity. This is your ticket to getting your CDL license, and the place to do it is Giroux General Transport. Don't wait on this. You need to get your permit before taking the first class. So get on it. Get in touch with them and make it happen. 279-3325. That's Tracy Haynes over at Giroux General Transport. There's so much happening in our community this coming weekend. You'll be seeing the posts. You'll be hearing me talk about it. The various things that are happening. One of them is over at the Northeast Slopes. They've got their summer solstice at the slopes on June 21st. That is Saturday. Crafters, they've got a flea market. They've got a wellness day that's going on. It starts at 9 in the morning, goes till 3 p.m. Right there in East Corinth. If you would like to be a crafter, or you would like to get involved in the flea market, if you would like to be a vendor, if you'd like to have some space, get in touch with the Waits River store or the Gathering Place in West Thompson. And the way to do that is, well, you just stop into the Waits River store or give them a call over there. Heather will take good care of you. And I'm gonna see if I can swing in there and chat with them a little bit in the near future. It is Wednesday. Good morning to you, and thank you so much for tuning in today and experiencing Winton Buddington from Sweethearts and Heroes with us this morning. What an amazing experience it is to chat with these guys and gals. Amazing. Mountaineers playing on Friday night. There's so much happening this Friday night. I'm not sure where I'm going to be, what I'm going to be doing. I want to be at the Mountaineers game. I also want to be at the Quechee Balloon Festival for the launch, the balloon launch, hot air balloons, this coming Friday night. Maybe I should clone myself. I don't know. There's just a lot of great stuff happening in our community. We're going to chat with Deb Phillips from The World tomorrow morning, first thing, right at 9 o'clock, and then bring G in. But don't forget, the Barrie Farmers Market. We were talking about this right off this morning. It starts at 3:30 this afternoon at Courier Park. The food trucks begin at 4. They're serving up dinner until 7 p.m. Live music with the Rustics from 5:30 until 7 o'clock. It's every Wednesday in Courier Park right here in the Granite City. Thunder Road tomorrow, the Triple Crown Series for the Tigers. We'll be talking a little bit about that tomorrow morning. And, of course, recapping things on Friday morning when Rex comes in. Let's see. Saturday, we have graduation from Spalding. So many schools are going to be graduating this weekend. Congratulations to all of the seniors and, frankly, their families who have supported our youth in getting to this point in their lives where they can graduate from high school. But it's going to be a busy weekend. Yeah, Saturday is the VFW breakfast. I'm hoping to get to that. I think it starts at 7 in the morning on Saturday over at Post 790. Rusty Deweese is going to be on the air with me, I think on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if he'll be in the studio or if he's going to be by phone or whatnot, but we're going to be talking about the big cancer walk going on at People's Academy that Rusty is going to be the keynote of. Let's see, looking ahead here, what else? Yeah, North Shore for the Mountaineers on Friday night. That's who they're playing this coming Friday night. And then Saturday night against Sanford. And Sunday against Valley. So, man, there's a lot of great stuff. Please don't sit home and do nothing this weekend. Get yourself out and have some fun. Experience life and embrace your community. Engage with your neighbors and, yeah. And mostly, just take a deep breath, man. If you're having a rough week, you'll get through it. We'll get through it together. Love to bring you the serious stuff. Love to bring you the insightful stuff that we can talk about, that we can relate to. Love to bring you the news and what's happening in and around our state and our nation that's relevant to us. Keep watching the page. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in our state and in our world. The Vermont legislature is wrapping things up. There's a lot of stuff happening. We keep it raw for you. We keep it real for you. And we also try to incorporate a lot of laughter and entertainment. And we're going to try to do that tomorrow morning because laughter is so important. Let's get goofy together. Might just help our mental health and get us through the final push of the week tomorrow with G. It's going to be a good time. I promise you that. Be well, everyone. God bless. And thanks to all of our presenting sponsors and supporting sponsors that make what I bring to you each and every morning, my time that I get to share with you, make it possible. And I'm so grateful, so blessed by all of my supporting and presenting sponsors. God bless you all. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock right here on the Aired Out Podcast.